Financing that dream home might seem difficult, but don't worry if you have any query related to home finance, whether it's about interest rates, repayment strategies, or even the tax deductions that are available for your loan amount, then you've tuned in to the right show. Hello and welcome to Magicbricks Now. You are watching Property Hotline. I'm Kavita Krishnan. We are answering home finance queries today with Kartik Jhaveri. Kartik is the founder and director of Transcend Consulting India Private Limited. Kartik, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We have Manohar who's called in from Indore. Manohar, बताइए कैसे मदद करें आपकी? क्या सवाल है?
थैंक यू मैडम. हेलो.
जी मनोहर बताइए.
हेलो. हाँ, थैंक यू मैडम. मेरा एक सवाल है कि मैं इंदौर में प्लाट लेकर मकान बनाना चाहता हूँ.
ठीक है. और
मेरी इनकम जो है वो एग्रीकल्चर से है. मैं रिटर्न फाइल भी करता हूँ. इसमें 6 से 7 लाख रुपए पर ईयर मेरा नेट प्रॉफिट है. इसके बावजूद मुझे कोई भी बैंक लोन देने के लिए तैयार नहीं है.
कोई भी बैंक आपको लोन देने को तैयार नहीं है? किसी बैंक ने वजह बताई है आपको?
एग्रीकल्चर इनकम बताई वजह एक तो कि आपकी एग्रीकल्चर इनकम है,
एग्रीकल्चर
नहीं रहती है. हाँ, बाकी मैं रिटर्न फाइल कर रहा हूँ. मैं 4 साल से रिटर्न फाइल कर रहा हूँ. उसमें 3 लाख रुपए नेट प्रॉफिट आ रहा है मेरा. और
मनोहर ये बताइए कि आप काम क्या करते हैं? आप किसान हैं? आपका खुद का फार्म या प्लांटेशन है?
किसान ही हूँ मैं.
आप किसान हैं, ठीक है. और आप इंदौर में प्लॉट लेकर मकान बनाना चाहते हैं, लेकिन इनको कोई बैंक जो है कार्तिक लोन देने को तैयार नहीं है, ऐसा क्यों है?
वेल, ऐसे कोई कारण तो नहीं हो सकता. मनोहर, आपको लोन कितना लेना है ये एक बता देंगे प्लीज हमको?
हाँ, 15 से 20 लाख.
हाँ, सो मनोहर ऐसे होता है कि जो भी आपकी औसतन इनकम होती है, सबसे पहली चीज़ ये हो जाती है कि आप एक सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड या खुद के अपने कामकाज पे करने वाले हैं. आप सैलरीड नहीं है, जो नौकरी पेशा जिसे कहते हैं. तो एक नौकरी पेशा ऐसा व्यक्ति होता है जिसको लोन मिलने में बड़ी आसानी हो जाती है. बिजनेसमैन को या फार्मर को थोड़ी ज़्यादा दिक्कत आती है. तो कोई भी फाइनेंस कंपनी जो है वो देखती है कि आप में रीपेमेंट पे करने की क्षमता कितनी है. मतलब आप अपनी लोन की भरपाई कर पाएंगे कि नहीं, ईएमआई समय पे दे पाएंगे कि नहीं, ये सारे सवाल रहते हैं. इसलिए वो खाली आपकी 1 साल की इनकम नहीं, पिछले कई सालों की इनकम देखते हैं, उसका एक एवरेज निकालते हैं और उसके ऊपर वो लोग निर्णय लेते हैं कि आपको लोन कितना दिया जाए. अब मेरे ख्याल से अगर आप 2.5 या 3 लाख रुपए का नेट प्रॉफिट अगर दिखा रहे हैं, तो यानी कि महीने का समझिए हो गया करीब 20,000 से 30,000 रुपये के, 20 से 25,000 रुपये का रेंज हो गया. तो जो आपको लोन मिलेगी वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 7-8 लाख या मैक्सिमम टू मैक्सिमम 10 लाख की होगी. उसके लिए क्योंकि आप रिटर्न फाइल कर रहे हैं, ये तो एक अनिवार्य चीज़ है ही जो आपको करना ही है, इसमें कोई आपके पास विकल्प नहीं है. पर उसके अतिरिक्त अगर आप थोड़ा प्रॉफिट ज़्यादा दिखाने लगे, थोड़ा मुनाफा अगर ज़्यादा दिखाने लगे, तो बैंक को भी थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाएगा. मेरे ख्याल से ये सिर्फ रीपेमेंट कैपेसिटी को लेके इशू है. शायद पिछले 3 साल या 5 साल का एवरेज आपका अच्छा बन नहीं रहा होगा, इसलिए आपको बैंक मना कर रही है लोन देने के लिए. अपना 2-3 साल और अपना एवरेज अच्छा कर लीजिए और तब जाके आपको शायद लोन मिलने में और भी आसानी हो जाएगी.
मनोहर, क्या किसी बैंक ने आपसे ये कहा है कि आपका जो औसतन आय है कम है, आप ज़्यादा कर्जा लेना चाह रहे हैं और इसीलिए हम आपको लोन नहीं दे रहे?
नहीं, ये बात किसी ने नहीं कही. वो तो डायरेक्ट मना ही कर देते हैं कि हम एग्रीकल्चर पे लोन नहीं दे सकते हैं. कि आपकी इनकम की श्योरिटी नहीं है कि किसी साल इनकम हो गई और किसी साल नहीं होगी, ऐसा एग्रीकल्चर में माना जाता है. जबकि गवर्नमेंट का जो गाइडलाइन है वो लगभग 15,000 रुपए प्रति एकड़ का इनकम रहता है. मैंने जब सीए से डिस्कस किया कि हमारा तो इनकम कभी कभी ज्यादा भी हो जाता है, रेट अच्छे मिल जाते हैं या प्रोडक्शन ज्यादा मिल जाता है.
राइट. मनोहर, आप लाइन पर रहिए. मैं एक बार कार्तिक से और एक सवाल पूछना चाहती हूँ. कार्तिक, कई सारे स्कीम्स होते हैं बैंक के पास. अब मनोहर जो है होम लोन लेना चाह रहे हैं, लेकिन बैंक के पास कई सारे स्कीम्स होते हैं अलग अलग किस्म के, जो लोग जो मनोहर जैसे लोग जिसका फ़ायदा उठा सकते हैं. नॉट जस्ट दैट, द प्राइम मिनिस्टर जो प्रधानमंत्री है, उन्होंने भी कई सारे रिसेंटली स्कीम्स लॉन्च किए हैं. क्या इनमें से किसी का फ़ायदा ये उठा सकते हैं?
ज़रूर उठा सकते हैं. सी, होम लोन लेने के लिए थोड़ी सी दिक्कत होती है, क्योंकि होम लोन फाइनेंस ये कंपनी ऐसे समझती है कि मुझे मेरा पैसा नहीं मिलेगा. शायद अगर उनकी उपज ठीक ठाक नहीं होगी तो बेच नहीं पाएंगे तो पैसा नहीं मिल पाएगा, हमारा लोन की भरपाई नहीं हो पाएगी. तो आपके पास दूसरे भी माध्यम है, पर्सनल लोन वगैरह तो सीधे सीधे माध्यम है ही, पर आपके लिए बहुत सारा कृषि विकास के अंतर्गत जो भी उनके जितने भी प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं उसमें आपको सब्सिडी मिलते हैं, उसमें आपको लोन्स मिलती है। आप वहाँ से बिजनेस देखिए, आपको लोन लेने से मतलब है, अगर आप एक समय बिजनेस लोन भी ले लेते हैं या किसी प्रकार का पर्सनल लोन ले लेते हैं जो खास करके किसानों के लिए है और आपकी किसी कृषि विकास योजना की स्कीम के अंतर्गत आते हैं, तो आपको ज़रूर वहाँ पे भी लोन की कोशिश करनी चाहिए, शायद वहाँ से मिल जाए। क्योंकि आपकी जो इनकम है, इनकम के मुताबिक आपको 7 या 8 लाख रुपए से ज़्यादा लोन नहीं मिल पाएगा। तो मैं ये मान के चल रहा हूँ कि जो भी आपकी ज़रूरत है घर बांधने की या घर बनाने की, वो उतने में पूरी हो जाएगी। तो उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए मैं ये सजेस्ट कर रहा हूँ आपको कि चाहे होम लोन ना हो, किसी अन्य प्रकार का लोन हो, वो लोन की आप कोशिश कीजिए फिर।
जी मनोहर, तो आपको पर्सनल लोन या कृषि विकास योजना के अंतर्गत कोई और लोन के लिए अप्लाई करना चाहिए। वो शायद बैंक आपको खुशी खुशी दे दे। तो आप बैंक से ज़रूर बात कीजिएगा और अगर कोई दिक्कत हुई तो ज़रूर हमसे संपर्क करें, हम आपकी मदद करने की कोशिश करेंगे। मूविंग ऑन, वी हैव कुणाल नाउ who's called in from Mumbai. Kunal, how can we help you?
Hi. I have a question regarding my loan intimation to be registered.
Okay.
So I had recently purchased a flat in Pune, and I stay in Bombay. Due to some medical reasons in my family, I mean, I have undergone some times, because of which I couldn't go and file the loan intimation with the registrar within the stipulated 30 days.
Okay.
So now the registrar is not ready to accept it, and I had actually after 20-25 days I had actually sent it to my broker asking him to go and deposit it, but it seems I have to personally be there in Pune, which I was not able to go. So now after 30 days, it's supposedly I have to pay some 1% of the property value plus 30,000 as fine, or as some registration charges. So it comes up to around like a big amount. So what's the way around this?
What is the way out? What can he do? Because it's a steep penalty that he's being asked to pay.
And that too just because, I mean, I've done everything. I've also paid up some 1,100 rupees charges that they actually asked for. That's also paid online. It's just about going there and delivering the document and getting it stamped. So for that, if I have to pay a lakh, that's actually in a way unfair to me, and that's also in
Right. Kunal, let me get in Kartik. I'm sure Kartik will be able to help you out over here. Kartik?
You know, Kunal, for you and for a lot of other people, I mean, do you understand why we say that property is a white elephant to maintain? This is exactly why. See, what happens is it's really unfortunate that due to medical reasons you couldn't do it. Now, having said that, there are a couple of things that one must understand. When you have a mortgage agreement with a home finance company, it's not actually their responsibility. It's more like your responsibility, because as a compliance matter, you must go and inform this notice of intimation in case you don't have this agreement. If you have this agreement, then this agreement needs to be obviously sent and filed with them. The reason for this is because it helps the housing society, it helps the sub registrar to understand that this property is under mortgage. Now, whichever way you look at it, there is no way we can escape it. We can't really do it. And yes, you're right, it was 30 days within which you were supposed to do this. Now, if you can't do it, then what happens is there is a penalty figure. So now this penalty figure is typically 1% of the amount that we are talking about in terms of your loan. So obviously your loan would be somewhere in that range that you're talking about. So 1% of that, and 30,000 is not actually a fine. 30,000 is the registration fee. So if you remember, when you would have got your developer to get an agreement with you, or if it's a second sale, whenever you did your agreement registration, there was a certain registration process that you followed, within which you had to pay 1% or 30,000 rupees as registration fee, and then stamp duty, etc., all of that. So the process now that you have gone out of this period is pretty much the same. Right now, in this process again, that it's like almost doing the same property registration again. So which means the counterparty will have to be there, you will have to be there, or if you are unable to go there, you obviously need to have a power of attorney appointed for yourself, and that person goes and submits this document at the sub-registrar's office. So fortunately, unfortunately, there isn't too much of a way out of this thing. 30,000 is not the fine, but it is the registration fee which must be paid, and the rest is that 1% of your loan amount, as I understand. So this is as per the Registration Act, and you really can't do much about it. So my suggestion is that bite this kind of a situation, but go ahead and do it sooner than later.
There's no way he can
No, absolutely not.
plead a medical emergency or something like that and get out of the penalty?
Not really, you can't see penalty you cannot escape. So what is happening is the notice of intimation had to be filed in 30 days. Now if you miss that, then your next recourse is the system is not saying that don't register, system is saying register, but you'll have to pay a little bit more. And that's what it is. So, whichever was the reason, perhaps you go to the sub-registrar, make an application. If the sub-registrar sort of, waives this thing off for you, great. But see, my suggestion is, we cannot, as you and me, cannot keep going to the sub-registrar's office because, obviously we are busy with our usual life and activities and work that we do. So it's best to have an agent appointed for this because these agents are people who are in regular day-to-day connection with such offices of the sub-registrar. And, they do a very, very efficient job out of it. They charge you a little fee. And the fee is not a humongous sum of money. Even in a place like Mumbai, the fee is somewhere in the range of maybe 4,000 to 5,000 or maybe 6,000 depending on where you are. So if you are in Pune, it's not going to be humongously a high figure. It's a small figure for the convenience that you're going to get. So I strongly suggest you please go in through and use the services of some agent and let that agent sort of help you and guide you through this whole process.
Right, and unfortunately, this is a fact. You will need to pay that penalty since you missed that date, and there is really no getting out of it. Before we move on to our next question, Kartik, very quickly. Now, I know that you're a lawyer as well, so you're well placed to answer this question. If, say, and we generally advise people on the show as well, that your best, if you do choose to invest in property, it's best that you do buy the property, close to where you live, or buy it in a place where there is someone who can look after that property.
True.
Because you need to keep, like you said, it's a white elephant, it needs to be maintained. Now, say you buy it in a different city and you're not a resident of the city, you don't have friends or relatives who are living over there who are willing to look after it. What do you do then?
So you have a couple of options in that case. One, you can go to a large, very well-known company or a brand, for example, Godrej, or for example, a large developer who's got all the infrastructure and who is actually looking for clients and property buyers like us ourselves who are based out in different cities. Then they will help you with all the logistics, etc. So one option is that. Second option is that if you're still going to buy a property into a smaller project, then you definitely need to have the services of a very good broker or a broking company as they call it. So a one-person broker could be a question mark that you want to consider versus that you look at somebody who's got a reasonably decent setup, go through some known sources. It's obviously better off to buy in a city where you have somebody or the other living that you can sort of little bit have a dependency on, and which is what we normally also do. We don't completely go into a city where we have absolutely no connection, but if we still want to do that, then there are these agencies that we have to depend on, and there is no other mechanism other than that. And sometimes you'll have to also make the effort of traveling yourself.
Right, so if you have a property in another city, do ensure that you travel yourself to that particular city at least once in a year to essentially exhibit your ownership over that property, to claim your ownership rights for that property, which is very, very essential. Email query next. Rajiv Chabra says that he's 54 years old, works as a vice president in a top corporate company. He owns a house in Bengaluru. Now, he wants to know if he should go for a reverse mortgage loan or a loan against property. He needs around 60 lakh rupees for his child's education abroad. Kartik, this is a question that's coming to us pretty often nowadays.
That's right.
And a lot of people are mistaking a reverse mortgage loan for a loan where they actually get money upfront.
Yeah. Exactly. So, a lot of people think that, their property is available, so they want to unlock their property, the value of their property and start using a loan again. But see, fundamentally, you spend so many good years of your life buying that property. Now, as soon as you completed the buying of the property, immediately, if you want to do a reverse mortgage and start, again, sort of rebuying that property all over again, then, there's going to be a lot of pressure on you and your EMI is generally never going to end, which is why fundamentally, it's always wise to start education planning way back when your child was actually maybe 1 year old or maybe when he or she was born. But having said that, you see, reverse mortgage fundamentally is available for retired people. It's a retirement planning product. It is not an unlocking of property value product. So you're 54. Most institutions do not give you a loan till the time you cross 60 or so to say you're retired and you want to have some sort of a pension support, and which is why these products kick in. Now, in the interim, what would you do? So, a couple of options that are there before you could think about a loan against property. Fundamentally, most banks are happy to lend you up to the extent of about 20 lakhs. and which is for international education. Rules keep changing, so it's obviously best to check with the bank that you have a working relation or an ongoing relationship with. They will ask you to put your property probably as a collateral. Obviously, they'll ask you to stand as a guarantor for your son. So all of that you can do, and you can take an education loan if that sort of helps you with putting in some resources of your own. If that still doesn't help you, then loan against property is your next bet. If you have a portfolio of maybe mutual funds and shares which are blue chips and that you don't want to sell, maybe you could consider a loan against securities. But again, there's a limitation of up to 20 lakhs there. So maybe you want to do it between yourself, your spouse, maybe your son if the son himself is a major. So there are a lot of options there, but give or take, it seems to me that loan against property might be your best bet at the moment.
So Rajiv, loan against property, education loan plus a loan against property is probably the magic formula that you're looking for. You know, before we move on, Kartik,
yes,
what essentially is a reverse mortgage loan? Because like I said, we get a lot of these questions.
Correct.
So what exactly is it, if you could just break it down for our viewers?
So in a very, very simplistic format, reverse mortgage is the reverse of obviously a regular mortgage. So in a regular mortgage, let's understand that. What are you doing? You are buying your house brick by brick and you're building it in some sense. So you buy a property and then you've taken a loan. Every month you're paying a little bit amount of money as principal and interest, and therefore brick by brick, let's say you're buying your house. In a reverse mortgage, let's say brick by brick, you're selling your house. So what you are doing, in other words, is you're actually telling the bank, here's my property, I'm mortgaging my property once again to you, I am in need of some money, so you're giving me some amount of monthly fixed amount of money. Now that money becomes a loan. You don't of course have to pay any interest on that. However, at some point of time, your beneficiaries, if you're going to give that property as an inheritance to your children, maybe they would consider one of the two things. Either they convert all the money that you've taken, withdrawn till that point of time, they convert that into a lump sum loan and then start paying an EMI back. Or maybe they consider selling off that property. The bank realizes its principal or the loan that it has given you through these monthly little bullets of money. And they also recover all the interest that is accrued on that money, and then the balance, whatever is left, is then given to the nominees and the heirs and is distributed between them. So reverse mortgage in effect is in a way selling your house bit by bit, and which is why, you know, it's a psychological thing, it's an emotional thing. People don't want to do it till the time there is no other option available. So,
and
but it's a fabulous
which is also
product.
Probably why it's not really taken off in India. It's
Absolutely
been around
true.
for the last 10 years at least.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's not really taken off, but what you need to remember is a reverse mortgage loan will not give you a lump sum payment. What you essentially get is more or less, you can actually compare it to a pension that you get after retirement. You're going to get a monthly income from that particular property. So it's like the bank is paying the EMI back to you. So that's essentially what a reverse mortgage product is. Moving on, we have a Facebook query next. Kaveri says that she wants to take a home loan of 15 lakh rupees for 15 years. Should she opt for a fixed or floating interest rate? Also, should she opt for a loan from a PSU bank or a private sector bank? Is that really something that should concern people now? I mean, is there any difference left between public and private sector banks in that sense?
Oh, absolutely not. You know, the whatever was the distance or whatever was the bridge has been covered so beautifully in the last so many years. So whether it's a PSU bank, it's as aggressive, as smart and as efficient as any other private sector bank in terms of doing its financing and in terms of approving projects and dishing out loans to everyone. So even in terms of features and products that they market to you, they are obviously at par and in comparison with the private sector bank. So fundamentally, the second part of your answer is there's no difference between a PSU bank or a private sector bank when it comes to taking a housing loan. The thing that will make the difference is going to be the product offering fundamentally, and the second is whatever is convenient to you. If you have a working relationship, you can obviously consider going with one of the banks that you're happy with, but obviously look at the place where you get the best rate, because you're not married to any bank. You might actually be flipping between 3 or 4 banks by the time you finish your 15 or 20 years of your loan. So even that's a very regular thing. Now coming to whether you should be in a floating or a fixed scenario. So that is always decided at a point in time. So if you are going to take the loan now, given the situation and the status quo of the economic affairs that we have, you should be in a floating rate loan right now, because the anticipation of everybody in the financial services sector feel that we are going to have certain rate cuts that are going to happen, which means that the interest rate at which you've borrowed your home loan is going to fall over the next couple of years. So we are not at what we call at the bottom of the interest rate curve, where you can actually afford to take a fixed rate loan, and which you can pretty much hope that that fixed rate loan is so low that it's going to go on for a few years. Just to give you a tiny example, in the year of 2006 and 7, we had reached some sort of a trough in interest rate movements, and which is the time where a lot of banks were offering fixed rate loans somewhere in the range of 6.5-7%. Even till date, after so many 10 years or so, we still haven't seen a scenario of that level of low interest rates. But it might come again in a few years' time. But having said that, right now, floating rate is your best option.
You know, Kartik, also I remember when I took a home loan, that was around that time when interest rates were at around 7.5%. And a lot of people had taken fixed rate loans alongside my loan, though I opted for a floating rate loan.
Correct.
And what we found is that when interest rates kept going up, after a point in time, there was nothing like a fixed rate loan, because even these people who had opted for fixed rate loans, their interest rates were reset. So that essentially the idea, the concept of an interest rate staying fixed for a 20-year duration, a 20-year cycle is actually no longer, it doesn't exist, right?
Yes, I mean, it does also and does not as well. So let's take both those things, both the scenarios are true. What happens is there is something which is known as the approval sheet or the sanction letter or the term sheet, or, various institutions would call it.
The agreement that you sign with the bank.
Yes, essentially the agreement that you'd be agreeing to with the banks. So those terms and conditions very clearly specify that this fixed rate is going to be for the next 3 years, then the rate is going to be X for the next 2 years, and then Y for the next 3 years, so on and so forth. Either that is how it is written in black and white, or it simply says that this is the fixed rate loan, come what may, it's going to go on for 15 years. Or it could say that this is a fixed rate loan, but subject to revision only once in the next 36 months or 48 months or some such thing. So the terms and conditions could be quite different. A lot of times you make a mistake just looking at the fact, currently it is 7, so it's going to remain 7 forever. It may not be true, but it also may be true. It all depends on the details that are mentioned in the term sheet or the approval memo that you get.
And of course, it goes without saying that if you get a loan where the interest rate is going to be fixed for the next 15 or 20 years, do understand that it will come at a price. It will probably be priced higher than your normal floating rate loan. That is something that you need to consider before choosing which product you essentially want to go with. But like Kartik said, at this point in time, you should probably opt for a floating rate loan. Interest rates on your screen over there, you can see that most of the banks are offering loans priced at around 9.35 to 9.65 or 9.7%. So take your pick. Actually go shop for a loan. You'll probably get yourself a good deal. Website query coming in now. Gangadhar says that he wants to know what his CIBIL score is before applying for a loan. How can he access it? He has inquired with some banks, but they're saying that he must apply for a loan, pay the processing fees first, and he adds that he has never taken a loan before. Now, these banks are taking him for a jolly ride over there.
Absolutely. And it's so disheartening to see, right?
Yeah.
In this age and time in which we live, and we are talking about modernization, digitization, make in India and all of this. And you have such queries also
just recently, customers were told that they will get a free CIBIL score once in a year. You are entitled to get a free annual score from CIBIL every year.
In any case, it is not so expensive. What you can do, Gangadhar, is very simple. Go to the CIBIL's website, type CIBIL in Google, and it will take you to the website. Very simple. The report costs something in the range of about 500 rupees, give or take. Apply for it online. You'll get an immediate email confirmation. They'll ask you for your PAN card. Just put in your PAN card. You get the immediate email confirmation. And in the next 2 or 3 days, you probably will get your report in your hand. So there is really no reason to go apply for a loan. Somebody is obviously trying to sell you something, which is why I said it's so disheartening when absolutely ridiculous sort of advice is dished out by a person who's as responsible as a bank in this country. But don't worry, it's only going to cost you a small amount of money. You can apply it yourself. It's very easy. You can study it. You'll get extensive details. You can even call them up if you need help to understand what is there in the report. So that's quite easy.
Right. So it's actually quite easy, and you'll get it online. They'll mail it to you on your email ID. There it is. It's very easy to get. And like I said, you do have a right to get an annual score free of cost once a year. Email query next. Gautam says that he took a home loan 2 years back from a private bank. However, he had not taken a copy of the loan agreement from them. Can Gautam ask them to send him a copy of the loan agreement? How important is it to have a copy of the loan agreement? Oh, that's very, very important. And I'm sure Gautam would have been mailed a copy of the loan agreement as well, right?
Very often it doesn't actually happen, because when a customer is in the rush of taking a loan or in the excitement of buying a property, a lot of times you just simply sign everything, and 99.9% cases nobody reads the whole loan agreement, because it's quite a booklet of sorts. And practically, if you ask the banker saying, okay, let me take this home, let me just read it up for 2 days and come back, and you will get a very horrible looking face from the banker. But anyway, having said that, yes, you are absolutely entitled to have a copy of every document that you are signing. Okay, there is nobody who can refuse you for that. You can read the document. It will talk everything about your rights, the obligations that you have, the commitment that you're going to give, so on and so forth. But at the same time, I also want to, relieve you by telling you that, look, it's not a life and death situation. So if you did not have the copy, or if it's, not going to come to you after a few years, it doesn't matter, because what you are interested in doing is to pay your EMI on time. What the bank is interested in is to get its EMI on time. If there is a situation where you want to default, then the bank will anyways take your property, and under the SARFAESI Act, they will go and sell it off. So therefore, there is hardly anybody who once takes a loan tries to deliberately find any loophole into the agreement and then tries to deliberately default and then have a litigative matter with the housing finance company. Normally that doesn't happen. So which is why, don't worry, don't sweat about it, but you have all the right and all the entitlement to get every paper that you've signed.
Right. So essentially, just go across to your bank and ask them for it. And in case they don't give it to you, then of course, every bank has its own ombudsman. You can write to the ombudsman. You can go and meet that person concerned and ask for a copy of a loan agreement. That's it on today's episode of Property Hotline. Thank you very much, Kartik, for coming in, answering all these questions. And if you have any questions related to real estate, do get in touch with us. We'll get the country's top experts to answer each and every one of them. Thank you very much for tuning in. Keep watching Magicbricks Now.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/MagicBricksNow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/MagicBricksNow.